Well, James, last night feels like a significant blow, doesn't it, for Arsenal's title hopes? Have they now handed the initiative and the momentum, really, to Manchester City?
The reason why it's significant is that for the first time in a long time, Manchester City are in a situation whereby if they win all of their remaining games, including a game at home to Arsenal, then they'll win the Premier League title. We can see the fixtures, but at the same time still, Arsenal, if they win all their remaining games, including a trip to the Etihad, which is coming up in April, currently scheduled for 18th of April. That may change, but what a game that could prove to be in terms of significance in this title race. If Arsenal win all these games, which is a bit of a stretch when you consider their recent form, then they will become the Premier League champions. But it's worth bearing in mind their form in 2026 hasn't been that of title contenders. 2 wins out of 7 in the Premier League. 6 times already in 2026, they've been dropping points. They've not been able to take advantage of building up a huge lead, which they could have done with the victory against Wolves last night. They had that opportunity against Brentford in the previous week because Manchester City have a game against Crystal Palace at the bottom of the screen there, TBC. We're not sure when we're going to see that played. So last night, Arsenal could have gone 7 points clear and City would have had to wait a while to play that game in hand. So they'd always be playing catch-up. We know City can play catch-up. We know what they're like in the back end of a season. But Arsenal have failed to take advantage because City haven't been at their best in recent time. They've won 3 out of their last 4 in the Premier League. So they look like the side in the ascendancies. Arsenal, on the other hand, don't quite look that way. But when you look at the Opta supercomputer in terms of their prediction who was going to win the Premier League this season, this may be quite surprising considering recent form, considering Manchester City's recent history when it comes to the title race. 80.92% chance of Arsenal ending that 22-year wait to win a Premier League title. Manchester City, the serial winners, just 15.91%. Aston Villa, we've still got to include them in the conversation, but just 3.04%. But those 2 wins in 7 in the Premier League for Arsenal in 2026, they came against Leeds, they came against Sunderland. They've been dropping too many points, and considering the squad strength they have right now, these are games they should not be dropping points in.
It's worth mentioning as well, these figures have shifted pretty significantly, haven't they, over the last kind of week or so. Arsenal finished second, didn't they, in the last 3 seasons? How does their season so far compare to those campaigns? Yeah,
they've been runners-up for the last 3 seasons, but those seasons have been very, very different. This one is quite illuminating when you consider the similarities between this season and that season, the 2022-23 season. They did suffer really bad injuries toward the back end of the season, but it feels like if this is a collapse from Arsenal, then it's happening earlier this season than it was in that season back in 22-23, because at that point they had an 8-point advantage over Manchester City after 29 matches. Pep Guardiola's side did have a game in hand, but Arsenal fell apart with the injuries they had, particularly at centre-back. I think Saliba and Gabriel were missing a number of games, and it meant they couldn't quite get over the line. Then you look at what happened in the 23-24 season. They were 3rd at this point of the season, but at that point they were only 2 points behind Liverpool. It was Manchester City who dominated and won the title. And then last season was slightly different. They were 2nd in the table, but they were 12 points behind Liverpool. It didn't feel like last season, despite their finish as runners-up, that they were ever in the title race. It felt like the Champions League was what they were after. They came very close there. This season, not being quite what they wanted in terms of the results. The points-wise, yes, they're top of the Premier League table, but at this point last season, Liverpool had 12 extra points than Arsenal did. Liverpool already on 70 points at this stage of the season. Arsenal, they've still got in their own hands, but they've missed a massive opportunity to put one hand on that title, you'd say.
Oh, I don't envy Arsenal fans the stress of the next couple of months. As for Arsenal themselves, next up, it's the North London derby on Sunday. The stakes have rarely been higher for both of these clubs. You can see it live from 4 o'clock on Sky Sports Premier League.